Hi, my name is Varun and I have with me Jason West from the NetBackup technical team. And today he's going to talk about NetBackup for Hyper-V best practices. Is that right, Jason?
Yes, thank you so much, Varun. So in fact, I am going to talk about NetBackup for Hyper-V best practices. So before I dive in to a lot of the details, I'm sure it's on your mind, well, what are some of the ideas around protecting small or large scale Hyper-V environments with NetBackup? So first of all, NetBackup does have support for VHD or VHDX, virtual hard disk form factors. So whether it's 2 terabytes all the way up to 64 terabytes, NetBackup does provide support for that. We have support for 2008 R2 and 2012, and as additional versions of Hyper-V become available, NetBackup will be aligned to support those. So what we're illustrating here is we've got the NetBackup master server, we've got a NetBackup media server. These could be the NetBackup appliances, or these could be build your own standalone servers. Disk dedupe device is taped, so these are your storage units or destinations of where you're performing the backups to. On the left-hand side, we've got our Hyper-V environment. So we've got what we're representing as 3 Hyper-V hosts and CSV or cluster shared volume. So NetBackup does provide support for that, and that's basically a way of sharing a common volume across multiple different Hyper-V hosts, minimum of 3. So we've got our application VMs as well as our virtual machines, and I'll go into more detail. So it's important to understand from a best practice perspective, NetBackup does provide support for small, medium to large scale Hyper-V deployments. Deduplication. So deduplication's important as well, as we're able to look inside a VHD or virtual hard disk file. We can actually dedupe those common blocks and be able to get really good dedupe rates. As I mentioned before, one of the best practices is these virtual machines. These could be VSS compliant or non-VSS compliant. So those could be Windows virtual machines. They could be non-Windows virtual machines. So just to summarize and point out some of the closing thoughts is NetBackup media server. It's recommended to put that on the Hyper-V host, right? Because that makes sure that the backup that's being performed either on CSV or off local data stores, that the data is closely backed up. So we'll put the NBU media server here. The second thing I want to summarize is the VSS compliant and non-VSS compliant workloads, right? So we do support those. And then the third thing I want to talk about is the deduplication. So that's really good best practice, making sure you can back up either to an appliance or a dedupe device to make sure that you're optimizing your storage for backup. And so it's also good to note that if you have strict or defined backup window requirements, SAN client is also a good way. You can put the SAN client and perform your backups directly across the fiber channel network. We also do support backing those up across the network, traditional LAN-based backups as well.
Well, that was great information, Jason. Thank you for presenting that. And thank you for watching.